would like to thank whomever made the sacrificial offerings to whatever tech gods that brought us Josh Burns back to this podcast.
Has nothing to do with tech gods, buddy. It's just I didn't spend like 4 days in 4 different states this week.
Right, yeah.
So I'm doing okay. I didn't seriously the last 2 Fridays I have more or less collapsed the moment I walked in my door and didn't get up until sometime late morning on Saturday.
Sounds about right. So we're happy to have you on. I gotta know what you thought of the 2 episodes that you missed. Mainly, I just kind of want to know how Brian and I did without you.
Subpar.
It was. What do you mean? It was fine. You guys were entertaining. It was good.
Of course, we were entertaining. I'm entertaining. CJ's not.
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
take that. Did you have anything that you wanted to add about the movies that we had talked about? I know your movies is missed by a lot of people.
No, I don't want to rehash the movie stuff. I will say that I need to look up John Negroni when I'm in San Francisco next month and see if I can't buy the guy a beer for doing. I mean, just you guys did an awesome job. It was a great conversation. I was very entertained.
It was a lot of fun.
And yeah, you know what? I mean, listening to the episode last week, though, you go into this like, you launch into this like, I want to reassure you, Josh is going to be back. Like, look, you guys did good.
He hates himself so much. He just needs you with him.
Really do. Like I
just need you. There's the light side and the dark side to the force. Brian and I are both the light side, and we need the dark side.
Yes,
otherwise, it's no good.
That's true. Fair enough.
Anywho,
I'm the Han Solo of the group.
Sure, if that's what you need to tell yourself.
Totally.
You're not a Force user?
I don't know.
He's the Jar Jar Binks of the group.
I will murder you.
No.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. Maybe
that's not an insult.
Maybe that's not an insult. That's it.
What you did there.
So let's talk for a quick minute about something that happened. We've talked about it previously, but now we've got a little more details. And I just need some initial reactions to this. So this mythical YouTube service that's gonna cost money finally came to light, and it's called YouTube Red. Let me first start by saying this is a terrible name because someone's going to put RedTube into their web browser and be very surprised if they sign up for a
I don't think they'll be surprised at all. I'm sure they'll be happy that they're not paying for that service.
Or they pay and they're like, oh, I didn't mean that. I meant to do YouTube Red, not RedTube.
Oh, it's part of the Tube network? I don't even know. I don't even know what to do with that information. But listen, don't check my browser history.
I'd like to cancel my entire credit card. Not just the one charge, the entire
Here's the thing. Like I went to load of some stupid video earlier today on mobile, and I got this YouTube Red ad, and I went to hard pass. I don't need What? Why are people paying for this, CJ?
So here's the deal. So this was, like we talked about, previously rumored, and they're now having big name content creators come on and do an ad free, kind of higher quality YouTube stuff. So PewDiePie is doing a thing called Dude Scared PewDiePie with the executive producer of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman. And a couple other big name studios, which basically are taking, would you please say PewDiePie the way that you just said PewDiePie?
PewDiePie!
Thank you. And putting him in terrifying situations that are inspired by his favorite video games.
Who's this Hootie Who guy you're talking about?
Are you not aware of PewDiePie?
Hootie Who?
PewDiePie.
Hootie Who! Hootie Who! Oh God, they call him Hootie Who.
He records himself playing a bunch of video games, pretty much. The only stuff I've seen is all the stuff with him playing horror games, because he freaks the F out like hardcore to the point where like he'll just like be crying in the corner, or he'll have to look up pictures of cats or stuff to calm down. He's got a huge following. It's just him pretty much playing some pretty epic video games.
He is like the top example of making money and making a living off of YouTube. He has 40 million subscribers.
More of a top example than like Epic Mealtime. They made a whole thing.
Yeah, because I think PewDiePie made $14 million
$14 million on YouTube?
Yes.
Something like that.
This guy should be.
He is the highest paid YouTuber in the history of YouTube.
He lives in America?
No, he lives in Sweden, I believe. Actually, no, he may be Swedish, but living in America.
He's Swedish, but he lives in the Americas.
He should be deported.
But anywho, he's
deported.
I'm sorry, he should be what?
Deported.
I just wanted him to say it one more time. But he's doing a thing with Robert Kirkman, and you may huff and puff, Josh, about The Walking Dead, but that is one of the most successful television shows in the history of cable, with the most successful YouTuber on the internet. I mean, it's important that they're going to do that. The problem is, I don't think anyone who watches PewDiePie would want to pay extra for it. There's also a thing called
40 million subscribers that don't want to pay for any content.
Right. Maybe 100. This is the thing. So hold on. There's about 2 other things that are coming out. There's Sing It from the Fine Brothers Entertainment, which they're hilarious. They're going to be doing a scripted comedy that makes fun of the reality singing competitions. There's the 360 project from Matt Pat of Game Theory. Game Theory is really cool, actually. I mean, he really kind of breaks down what can happen, and a little bit of science that happens with video gaming is really cool. But he's
do the science voice, Brian.
What for science?
That yes, do that.
Right.
Science for the video games. He's going to be doing a thing that's exploring VR and the way that we're kind of growing through that. There's another one. There's a couple other ones too. But here's the thing. This is going back to the Netflix price model. It's $10 if you're going to do it as an Android user, and $12 and I believe 95 cents if you're an iOS user, because fuck you, you're not on an Android platform. And it also gives you access to YouTube Music. Here's the thing. The people that watch YouTube instead of watching television do not have access to money for a subscription-based program. They are people that are in high school or in college who don't have their own health insurance, their own cell phone bill, and don't pay anything. They're the people who literally watch YouTube because it is free. So I have no idea who they think is going to pay for this. Like, I just don't get it.
Well, we're going to see. I mean, when do we have, like, when is launch?
Already has.
It's
already launched. Like today, when you launched your YouTube application to check for something, I'm sure you got an ad about it.
Like how soon do you think they'll be measuring subscriptions? Over the weekend? 1 week?
YouTube will have subscriptions within. I mean, it's YouTube. That's literally their bread and butter. Is how do we monetize? How do we measure? And it's all based off subscriptions.
Well, this is a ridiculous. I can't even imagine people are talking about paying for YouTube.
I would never. I again, like when we talked about it, I don't see the merit in ever paying for any sort of YouTube subscription. It makes no sense to me.
Like I enjoy Max Landis, but not enough to pay for it.
And that's kind of the weird thing about this, is that YouTube has always been this. It's the whole reason why it became so popular is because it's free. Now, here's what I'll also say. There's a flip side to this as well, is that a lot of content creators have been muscled in or pushed or pressured to become contributing members of YouTube Red. Google has kind of put the screws to them. And if you're a content creator, this is pretty cool. So there's a lot of people who want to be the next PewDiePie. There's a lot of people who want to be the next Epic Mealtime. There's a lot of people who want to join some of these production teams and probably will say, oh, I'll check it out, but then realize that they're not getting the opportunity to do this, so why join? I feel like this is a way to divide the YouTube community. And I don't know, I think if this doesn't get fixed, this could be the end of YouTube as we know it, and now seeing some other people and other services starting to step up.
Like what?
I don't agree with that.
Vimeo?
I don't agree with that assessment at all. I think
there's nothing. Give me another service.
Vimeo, Dailymotion. Just to name two.
It'll be what it'll be is a failed experiment, and everybody goes back to watching YouTube, but the ads get longer and more annoying.
See, if anything, I don't think YouTube, honestly, and listen, I know that people who make YouTube content work really hard on, well, most of them do. If you take it seriously, you really do put a lot of effort into it. I think you should be paid. I think you should be rewarded for viewership. But I don't think this is the way to do it. If anything, the only way I would kind of pay for any YouTube feature ever is kind of have like a monthly allowance of, hey, skip the ad. And there's a little button when your ad plays, and it takes a credit out of your overall piggy bank and gives it to that YouTube content creator and lets me skip the shitty commercial that I don't care about. It's the only way.
Doesn't
I think
Chrome already let you do that with a plugin? Can't you just
with plugins? Absolutely, but I'm just saying, the content creator at that point, like, I want them to get paid. I think that's important, and I think the best way to do that is to have a little thing like that, and you let every content creator get in on the floor for this, and not just a select few. I think that would be the ideal way to solve that thing.
I don't know. I think if you let everybody in, then you just end up with shitty content.
You're also assuming that the reason behind YouTube Red is so that the creators can get some profit. I don't think that is.
YouTube.
No, I think that's YouTube gets most of the money. Hence why Epic Mealtime and a couple other people have shut down. People have left YouTube because of the pressure they got from YouTube Red, the fact that they were excluded from YouTube Red, or they looked at their compensation for it and said, not worth my time. And now cable networks, IFC, a couple other, like medium-sized companies have said, okay, we'll stop making YouTube content and getting paid on advertisements and Patreon. Come join us. Here's a production staff. Here is a budget. Here's a producer. Here's camera people. Go give us your content now. I mean, now more than ever, it's easier for people to jump the ship. Because, I always thought that YouTube, once you got, quote unquote, YouTube famous, there was two things you could do. You either live off of it like PewDiePie does, and I'm sorry, I keep picking on him, but he was the highest paid person on YouTube last year, or go work for a major network.
I've never heard of this dude. B, I think the only subscriptions that I've watched with any regularity in the past few years have been, and I'll come back to Epic Mealtime, but even more than that, it's probably like Jenna Marbles is the only other subscription that I've watched with any regularity, because she's hilarious. She's entertaining.
But
I can't and the stuff isn't like really well produced. It's just, it's edited well and it's funny and it's free. So I watch it, but it's not, it's one of those things where I'm gonna, if I have 15 minutes to kill, I'll watch a few episodes of something, but I never sit down like, oh, I'm so far behind on my YouTube content.
Right, exactly. And again, I don't know if it's a mark of our age and just the fact that, maybe we don't do that because, we're not the generation that does. But I think the initial problem I have with this theory is that the generation that does treat YouTube that way doesn't get to make the call if they pay for the subscription service. Like, Josh, if your kids came up and said, hey, Dad, $10 a month for YouTube because this gamer that does Minecraft videos has better Minecraft videos, give me $10. Are you going to say yes to that?
I'm going to say, how do you know what YouTube is?
Okay, your kids
go
are
back to watching Disney Channel. Why are you here?
My children are 7 and 5. They've got no business on YouTube.
Right, but there are like my cousins live off of that. That's just where they live. Anyway, I just think it's weird. I think Google wrote something down on paper, right? And it looks great. Take your top YouTube content creators, take some great content producers from traditional television, put them together, make cool content, and then charge $10 for it. And then someone's like, okay, that sounds great. Now read it aloud. And once the words left their mouth, they're like, oh, we're already too far into this.
Speaking of too far into this,
so let's move on. I want to talk about a story.
You sure you want to move on?
I'm absolutely certain I want to move on to something that doesn't cost me $10 to talk about it. I want to talk about a really cool thing that hit over the internet over the last couple of days, and I'm sure you've read about it. And I'm sorry if it's been exhausted, but I want to talk about it a bit. A terminally ill Star Wars fan reached out to J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot, and said, "Hey, listen, gigantic Star Wars fan. I don't believe I'm going to make it to see the new movie. What are the odds that I can see this?" And Mark Hamill and who else? Carrie Fisher and
Mark Hamill, Peter Mayhew all retweeted it. So he was given 2 months to live in July, and so it's a miracle that he's made it this far. He didn't think he's going to make it to the premiere of Star Wars. His wife went on Twitter with this campaign. I don't know who to reach out to. Is there any way we can find out a way to let him see Star Wars before he passes? And Mark Hamill, Peter Mayhew, and one other person, I want to say maybe Carrie Fisher, retweeted it. You got a whole community of support behind him. Apparently, he got a call from J.J. Abrams and said, "Hey, tomorrow we're going to be at your house to screen the movie. You should be ready." So that I thought that was awesome.
And I remember that this happened.
I think Awesome covers it. Like Awesome doesn't cover that, right? That's Make-A-Wish Foundation type awesome.
Yeah.
And it shows again that the nerd culture, while it can be weird from the outside, is so quick to respond mainly with positive, reactions rather than negative, especially when it's for the good of somebody else. I didn't see a bunch of other people trying to jump on the bandwagon, or I haven't heard of anyone faking a terminal illness to do this.
Without, obviously without questioning anybody else's, I mean, obviously this was legit, but without questioning any other people's motives in pursuing the same thing, I hope that what happens with this is that, J.J. Abrams and his company and those who made this movie, instead of waiting for others to approach them, actually have some sort of forum to seek folks out, like Make-A-Wish, to make this happen for other people who may not make it. And I hate to, with all the press that Hollywood gets, bad press, movies, I think Star Wars is one of those franchises that actually unites people, even as divisive as some of the culture can be sometimes. I think that this is something that everyone gets behind. Everyone is in that theater with the same feeling and the same nostalgia and the same wonder. I know it was that way, for Christian when he watched the series for the first time, and he's super excited. So I know how I feel when it's time for a new Star Wars to come out, and I can't imagine I know it's not, obviously there are larger concerns, but I personally can't imagine knowing that it's going to be there and that I'm not going to get to see it. So I think that this was a great thing they did. I just hope that there's some way to make it happen for more people.
Yeah, it's just amazing too to see just how the community at large got behind this guy and rallied for him too. And just to see the massive response of people just showing positivity and hope over the internet, which is crazy. You don't see a lot of hope on the internet. It was nice to see that.
So that was tubes filled with a lot of hope.
My God, we were there, buddy. We were there. We were highbrow. I was ready to make a highbrow transition. Like, so sad. I was Josh just set the stage wonderfully.
Continue with your transition.
No. Let's just jump the shark then. If we're just gonna do it, Jesus, man.
You're welcome.
Leave it to Brian. Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome. No problem.
We got too serious, and you had to smack it down.
I can't do that. I can't get too serious.
So, Brian's lowbrowness aside. We were talking about Star Wars bringing positivity into people's lives to then Brian being filled with the dark side, rage, and hate over a section of what Fox News show was this?
I don't even know. I got the link because somebody who claims they care about me sent it to me, and I watched it. And it's a 3.5 minute clip that I couldn't even get through. Some program on Fox News, they were talking about the fact that Star Wars trailer premiered during the whatever football game it was.
Some God. It
major
premiered
sports
during,
event.
I was texting you guys going, hey, it's time to turn on football. It's time to watch the Star Wars trailer.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'll just wait for YouTube in 20 minutes.
You know why? Because 10 minutes later it was up on YouTube. And you know what I didn't have to watch? Football.
No.
Anyway.
This is just sad.
Anyway, they're talking about this because the moment that trailer released, the end of the trailer says, hey, you can buy your advance tickets now. And literally right after, those tickets became available. And the internet got flooded. And I think it made something ridiculous, like $6.8 million in ticket sales just for the opening day.
Because football is like
it's because Star Wars.
Every other show.
No, that was
Wars.
The highest rated football show because of Star Wars.
It was indeed because of Star Wars, and it crashed.
The Eagles
Fandango.
had nothing to do with that.
It crashed Fandango servers like 3 times, and they were talking about this on some Fox News show. And the guy who was doing the actual, segment was very much like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm not a huge fan. But we have a huge fan here. We have this guy who's apparently a huge fan. And then we have some other person who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Because the moment they brought it up, you see this woman just roll her eyes. And I immediately was like, oh, here we go. I'm going to get mad. And she starts talking about this like she describes it as oversaturated. It's everywhere. Star Wars, you can't turn around and see. It's all over the internet. It's overhyped. And I was like, okay, whatever. That's your opinion. I don't think it's oversaturated. I think I got 2 trailers in the past 6 months for this freaking movie. But okay.
It was Carly Sinkums or Sinkums?
I don't know her name. But it absolutely is oversaturated. It's in every retail store. It's everywhere.
Say that to me when she sits there and presents it like, well, how, I don't even understand why they premiered it during football. You know what's oversaturated, Josh? Football.
Oh, football happens for like a grand total of 20 weeks a year.
I don't care. And Star Wars, the last Star Wars movies was when? 2005 was episode 3. Was the last time we had a Star Wars?
It was a long time. I'm not saying it's not overdue. I'm saying that the marketing for Star Wars
never stops.
Listen,
it's everywhere.
It was good, yeah, because it's a huge deal.
I'm fine with it because I work with retailers. It keeps them in business, and that makes me happy. And B, I love Star Wars, so. It can't, for me, there can't be enough cosplay. There can't be enough Halloween costumes, little kids running around like R2. There's no way that's ever going to be enough of it. And look, just because some blonde on Fox News doesn't like it, listen, let me tell you that she's not a marquee player. It has nothing
to do with how she doesn't like it. It has to do with the way she was talking down to anybody who does like it. She legitimately says, it's oversaturated to the point where us normal moviegoers can't see it anywhere. Like it's ridiculous the way that she presented it and talked down to people who I don't know are 90% of like people who are moviegoers are going to see this movie. This movie is going to break box office records all over the place.
Yes.
You can't tell me they're the minority.
I'm not, but I'm also telling you that you've gone round the bend.
I'm telling you that it could have been handled a lot better. And
handled is oh my God, all of these idiot opinion columnists have their own shock way of putting things out there and getting their name in the news. Who cares? This is exactly the type of reaction that idiots like this are looking for. You can't take it personally. She's not trying to, Brian, she's not trying to stuff you into a locker, dude.
Okay, listen, I know that hate leads to anger and anger leads to fear and fear leads to the dark side. I get it. I get it.
Right.
That's not the point. The point is
be mindful. Be mindful of your emotions.
I am being mindful of my emotions, which is why we're not talking about this yesterday when I watched the clip and was screaming obscenities.
Who is doing the drinking game of all the Star Wars quotes that just happened for that? You should have about 3 shots right now. Just continue on. Go ahead.
And I know she's not trying
I'll take care of that for everyone.
I know she's not trying to shove me in the locker or anything. That's not the point. The point is she pretty much took a huge section of population and completely demeaned it and said things like, well, oh, we feel sorry for these people, us normal moviegoers. She literally said those things. And if you don't believe me, watch the clip again.
It's
Joshua.
There's absolutely nobody who's given this chick any credibility about really anything she's discussing about Star Wars. Like, she couldn't answer 5 trivia questions about it, and you're taking this far too listen.
I'm saying she should just shut her mouth then, if that's the case. Well,
then what you should do is
I would never
take to
go
Twitter
on national
and challenge her.
Josh, I would never go on national television and start spouting off shit about football like I know something about it. I don't. And I understand that people are passionate about different things.
No, you have me for that. I know.
That's why I keep you
I'm
around.
the weapon you wield when you want to talk about football. And when I have somebody that wants to rise up about something comic book worldy, I grab you. And look,
that's right.
You just can't. You can't take this level of offense to it because that's the intent.
I don't know.
They want to get you.
It's a trap, Brian. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
I just drank.
And they want to get you. They want to get you fired up. Look, you have an outlet. You're voicing your opinion right now, but look, you should be calling this person out on Twitter.
If I knew how to use Twitter, I would.
I'm just saying.
Us normal Twitter users don't want to see the oversaturation of Star Wars on my newsfeed. Okay? It's just something that I can't deal with.
You have an outlet.
It just rubbed me the completely wrong way.
It's
funny because I actually I think you could probably search that on RedTube and find something.
Stop with the RedTube.
You are the one that wants the listeners to search RedTube.
No, stop. Do not. That is not true. That is not. No. Negatory. Incorrect. False.
I'm just saying.
I think I think you're justified. It
needed to be done better.
I absolutely think you're justified. I just think that that's what shock jocks do, and really, on television, that's all you're going to get is people trying to polarize you. I thought that the lead-in by the anchor was, hey, listen, I just don't get into it. This guy over here loves it.
Great. Yeah.
Right. And then this person, I watched the clip for 15 seconds until it was very clear that she had no idea how mass media works. And then I shut it down because why would you put it on? Why would you put it on the most televised sporting event ever? Because you need to reach the public at large. And here's the thing, quote unquote, normal moviegoers, they're the ones going to see Star Wars because it's a popcorn movie. They're sitting there with their tub and they're shoving popcorn down their throat and they're watching the 13 minutes of trailers beforehand and deciding the 3 more movies they're going to see that month. The whole reason to market Star Wars the way they do is because everybody watches it. So listen, don't get offended by a shock jock. It doesn't matter.
I was very also.
Josh is my soothsayer.
That's what he does. He's the Brian Whisperer, the Nerd Whisperer. Oh my God, Josh, you're the Nerd Whisperer. Anywho, I know Brian needed a vent and he needed to get that off his chest.
I just needed to get it off my chest. I got really angry and I didn't know what to do.
And I feel that he should feel.
Because you know what? I did feel like I was back in that locker. No joke. But anyway, continue.
No, that was clear. That was clear by the way you approached it.
Very
clear. Look. I'm being oppressed. That's what happened.
Being oppressed. Anyway,
you feel better?
A little.
You look better too. You look better too. So did you guys read this theory that this Redditor posted about Jar Jar Binks?
That Jar Jar Binks is the ultimate Sith Lord?
That Jar Jar Binks is not the mistake that we all think of him as. As a matter of fact, guys, Jar Jar Binks is perhaps the most powerful evil Sith in the Star Wars universe.
That's not what it said.
Really?
That's not
he
what
manipulated an entire. All right, Brian, please. Someone go through the theory a bit, just for a minute.
I'm gonna let Josh take this.
It didn't say that he was the most powerful. It said he was a very powerful collaborator.
Okay.
They didn't call him a Sith Lord. They certainly didn't call Palpatine his apprentice. It was very clear that they just based on clues throughout the movie. Everyone should read. We're gonna post the theory on the site, and everyone should give this a read. It takes 10 to 15 minutes. There are many links that you just a quick click and you can see exactly what the theory's talking about. Even that the animators, these aren't like crazy fan theories. This is like, hey, see how he was supposed to be here, but he did a force jump and now he's over here, and you can see how the animators made the droids track his movement.
Right.
Everything is backed up with clips from the movie, and it's pretty compelling stuff. I mean, I certainly never considered it before the other day when I read it, and this was posted to Reddit on October 30th, so it's a week old, and it's an interesting theory.
And what's really cool, as Josh said, is that this isn't just some guy with a tinfoil hat trying to justify Jar Jar Binks. Like, everything in that Reddit post has source material backing it up. And then I think it ended initially with the backlash being so hard against Jar Jar Binks that Lucas actually didn't get to fulfill this idea, just to us whining, bitching, and complaining about it. Did I read that part correctly?
That's how I read it.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed that way. Although he, whether Lucas pursued it or not, the storyline. I mean, obviously he was in Attack of the Clones, and then he was in Episode 3, although he had no reason to be, and that was laid out in the theory as well. Palpatine, after he moved the Senate to back Palpatine was done with him, right? So if he was just some sort of bumbling idiot, he didn't need to be there anymore. But he was with Palpatine in Episode 3. And you could see him there.
For all the people who aren't nerdy Star Wars fans, we're going to dial back a bit. The cool part about this is that it makes you rewatch. God damn it, now I'm going to have to rewatch 1, 2, and 3. And kind of see this kind of play out. It now puts a very different spin on a character that is definitively hated by many. Except for really small children who don't know any better.
My favorite part about this whole thing is, that the Jedi themselves are inspired by Shaolin monks, and there's when you actually read this through, they have footage of Jar Jar and then footage of the Drunken Master style, which I'm a huge and I'm assuming you
the
guys
Jackie
never
Chan
watched
movie. No, the Jackie Chan
the Legend of Drunken Master. Yeah,
it's
you watched
phenomenal.
That?
It's great,
Brian.
Yes, I have watched it.
All right, so it's one of my favorite kung fu movies of all time, and I guess I don't know, for whatever reason you don't even think about it because Jar Jar Binks is such an idiot stumbling around that you're like, well, he's not doing anything but being an idiot. And then you watch the footage of what Jar Jar did next to footage of Drunken Master style by a kung fu expert, and you're like, that's exactly the right thing.
Right.
It was cool. It was cool.
It's crazy. Some of it is just way too on point to just be a coincidence. So we're going to put a link into the show notes. If you're not a huge Star Wars fan, that's okay. If you're interested in it, though, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth a read. All right, so now that Jar Jar Binks is out of our lives, and maybe,
or he could very much still be in our lives.
I hope he comes back.
Episode 7.
Oh,
don't.
I hope he comes. I hope the big reveal is that Jar Jar was behind it all.
If I'm serious, if you make it that, I'll be cool with that.
Kylo Ren is an apprentice of Jar Jar's.
He is Jar Jar.
Tell me that this hasn't at least restored your faith a little bit.
Oh, totes. And I just said totes. I understand what I just said.
What
totes
the hell just happened?
You sure
totes
did.
Totes.
You said it out loud.
You said totes out loud.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not recorded for posterity or anything.
I'm really worried that Brian, I think we lost him forever.
He's gone round the bend, like I said.
So I want to talk about the next thing, and that's our movie theater hacks. Everyone's got something, and I want to start off with a couple ground rules before we get into this process. Support your local goddamn theater and stop sneaking food and beverages into the movie theater. Now, listen, if that's your movie hack, that's your movie hack. But don't be doing that.
I have never snuck in Wendy's through my cargo pants in middle school. That never happened.
Never bring Red Robin into a movie at the Carmike Theater that I patron.
I never used
are you
my
guys
friend's
actually
purse to smuggle in Chinese food.
Are you bringing outside food into the theater?
I bring in. I'm not shitting you. I have eaten a Buffalo Whiskey River Wrap while watching Ant-Man.
Just let me be very clear about this. There is no acceptable movie theater food that isn't popcorn or candy in a box. It's not acceptable.
May or may not have used a friend's ginormous purse to smuggle in Chinese food once.
What? Like you brought in Kung Pao chicken?
Literally the whole chopsticks.
The box with or like a combo meal in the plastic.
Yeah, like
thing.
one of those combo meals and like the Tupperware type things.
You didn't bring a combo meal into the theater.
Jenny has never brought a chicken Caesar salad into a movie theater and eaten it during the commercials.
Let me look.
It's never happened. Just so I'm perfectly clear, it's never happened.
These movie theater taverns where you can order a meal of food.
Yes, it's the best. No, it is
I don't
the best.
Want to hear people chewing.
No, the seats are far enough. It depends where you go. AMC Fork and Screen, their seating arrangements are like more isolated. So we've talked about this before. So you don't hear all the chewing. Don't go.
Clearly, you haven't been near some of these mouth breathers that live in the Lehigh Valley.
I don't go to the Lehigh Valley for this experience.
He goes to Bridgewater, New Jersey.
I go to Bridgewater, New Jersey, which isn't that much better, but at least the people there are further away from me.
They're opening one in the valley.
I know it's right by my house, and I'm going to spend boatloads of money there. But let's get on to hacks.
Wait, is this the one that's being built and is going to open in July? Is that the one?
Yes, the one by the Costco and all the new construction.
Yeah. I drove by there today. It's going to be amazing. But I'm
there.
Never
you go, stalkers. This place is close to my house. There you go. So I want to bring this up. I also asked some people for their movie hacks. I want to wait though because I want to bring a bigger collection of them next week with user movie theater hacks. And I do particularly want to talk about just your movie theater experience, not your movie at home, because people were giving me some good ones for that. Brian brought this one to my attention, and it was also on a list. And you know what? I'm actually surprised that Thrillist didn't have one of these. But taking a straw and affixing it to the butter distributor to get the butter in the center of your bag. Holy shit!
You're not actually affixing it to the butter distributor.
You stick it in the bag.
You're sinking it into the middle of the bag, and then you're aiming the butter through the straw to get to the middle and bottom first.
I like to do like a 3-layer at salt. I like to stick it kind of like towards the side in the center, and then like towards the middle, all the way towards the bottom. And
let me fix this problem for you and everyone else, so there's no messy straws happening. Right? Here's what you do. You just ask for a second bag and you pour half of it into that second bag. You can evenly distribute the butter by putting butter on it and shaking it.
Here's the problem with your theory.
Here's why that won't work.
Here's the problem.
Please go ahead,
involves
Brian.
me talking to someone. I don't want to talk to anyone.
No. Here's the
I just want my popcorn and I don't want to go.
Here's the bigger problem. If you have a large popcorn bag, most movie theaters offer a free refill of your large popcorn. And therefore, you would want an extra large popcorn bag to make sure it works, and you will scam them at a movie theater popcorn.
Who gets a large popcorn at a theater?
Moi, I do.
Do you get like a?
Excuse me, sir. I actually have a bucket, an annual bucket from Carmike Theaters that I fill up.
No,
I wash it. I wash it after. Listen, the value is worth it, and
how do you
just
like
a lot easier.
not?
I clean it after every movie. Clean it after every single movie.
I would be in pain. Like I wouldn't be able to move for a day.
I mean, I used to, back before there was the self-serving butter at my local movie theater, I used to have to order and be like, okay, I want a large popcorn and I want so much butter on it that it's inhumanly possible to digest that much butter. And then when you think I'm going to have a heart attack, I want you to put more on, but I want to make sure that you layer it. I don't want a whole bunch of butter and then a bunch of dry popcorn. So if you could just layer it with as much popcorn, as much butter as possible so that I get a heart attack and have the ambulance on standby, we'll be good.
I actually want popcorn soup. Can I have? Is that what you're ordering?
You can ask my friends. They have seen me order popcorn this way.
That's gross,
That's disgusting.
Brian.
And I don't want to talk
It's
about your
delicious.
terrible popcorn soup.
So I had one person who like took it to heart, and I dubbed her the butter queen. And she put so much on it, it was leaking out of the cardboard bucket.
But that's not.
That's
it's not
gross.
actually butter. It's gross.
It's amazing.
Anyway.
No.
That's disgusting.
Continuing with the movie hacks.
Enjoy
now
your
that we
glass.
have my horrible diet out of the way.
There is this is actually a really cool thing. I've used this for movies that I care about but aren't like my movies, so anything that my wife drags me to. There's a wonderful app called Run P. Now listen, this kind of requires that you aren't a Josh Burns and using your phone in the middle of the movie, but kind of having the way that you can kind of know what time you're in the movie. Anyway, it kind of tells you what time during the movie is a great time to go to the bathroom. Good time to run pee. Great if you're taking kids to go see a kids movie. I don't care if you use your cell phone during that. Pull it out, know when the kids have to go to the bathroom. Run
That
pee.
you aren't a Josh Burns.
Now, I'm pretty sure.
We're gonna address this really quickly by moving just slightly down the list here. An app by Cinemark, which is a huge movie theater chain, that puts you in cine mode, where when you turn it on, here's what it does. It dims your screen and silences your phone. It's exactly what I do in the theater.
Do you know why it dims your screen and silences your phone?
Because you
it
touch
can't-
yourself at night?
Because it can't lock your screen and silence your phone. Otherwise, the app won't run in the background and earn you reward points for actually keeping your phone in cinema
My
mode.
point is, there's a movie theater saying, we know nobody's actually turning their phone off. So let's just dim your screen.
So no. It's not that thing. It's if you don't touch your phone the whole time. The only way that they can monitor to make sure you are not using your phone is to not turn off the display, but to dim it. They can, if they lock your phone, if you lock your phone, no rewards. This app doesn't work. So you need to have it dim. So that's why they're dimming it. It's a Google Play
you get
app.
rewards for just killing your phone battery during a movie? Is that what
Yes,
I'm
pretty
hearing?
much. That's what
That's what you're hearing.
hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Forget airplane mode.
Now,
Then
forgive me if I'm wrong, because
Cinemark movie theaters.
I do not have children or childlike beings in my life. When they have to pee, you don't get to consult some app. You got to go. You don't get to be like, oh, just wait 2 more minutes. It'll be a perfect time to pee. It's not how life works.
Depends on how old the kid is.
No, it doesn't. It's never
No.
good to hold that.
I've done
in.
it for
It's
my
bad for
niece.
So you're
Where's
a horrible
the
uncle.
liar quote?
Okay,
yeah, sure, fine, sure.
I'm just saying.
If
Your
that's what
niece
you
gets
do.
when she gets a urinary tract infection, it's your fault.
That's gross.
Absolutely.
Oh God, why are we going lowbrow all day? All day.
That's
today?
I don't
not
know what you're talking
lowbrow.
about. Lowbrow what?
That's medical science.
We care about the
For
children.
science. Make sure your urinary tract is clear. Is that what you wanted? I just take it too far.
I want you to consider when you go to a movie, it's going to be 2.5 hours that you're not going to get up and go take a piss. So,
That's what I say.
monitor your fluid intake and don't
I
go.
agree. I agree.
I do the same thing. But we're all very intense about our movie theater
When
experience.
my kids are there, without fail, one of them's going to have to go. At least one of them. It's the way it is. So you go.
So this is actually really cool. There is this basically the wonderful subscription-based thing called Movie Pass. And this lets you see as many movies as you want at participating theaters for $30 or $35, depending on where you live.
At 2 participating theaters in Juneau, Alaska.
That is not true.
Enjoy.
I Googled our address, and all the movie theaters that we frequent in the Lehigh Valley and beyond are part of this program.
Carmike is part of it.
Carmike 16, which
False.
is where we go to, and AMC Tillman 8 in Tillman Street.
Oh, that crack den. I love that place.
Gross. Don't ever go
Terrible
there.
movie theater, but it participates, and that's a damn cheap program. But the theater that we three frequent does actually support this. And I thought the same thing too, Brian. I was like, well, obviously this applies to New York, San Francisco, Austin, and Florida. So
name
PA.
the last 3 movies you saw in the theater.
God, they all bleed together. What was the last couple ones I saw?
Saw The Martian.
I'm going to go see Goosebumps this Tuesday.
I'm going to go see
Goosebumps. You saw The Martian. You see The Martian? Right?
God,
was that an IMAX?
Pissing me off.
Martian IMAX?
No, I saw it in regular. Not even 3.
What? Why are you poor?
Actually, yes, I just bought a new vehicle, so I am a little poor right now. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate you pointing out my economic status to the listeners.
I'm just saying, like, this is...
I bought a minivan. Yes, Brian, I bought a minivan.
It's okay. You have
That's
a child.
what you wanted. That's what you all wanted.
You're allowed
now,
to have a minivan.
What we're going to do is we're going to pimp this thing out. We're going to put some dubs on it.
I knew that's what you wanted to.
Go ahead. But this only works for non-IMAX movies, and I'm not sure... Like, the movies I go see are all, big box office. They're all IMAX movies.
This is one of the other movie hacks, too, is that, not to pay extra for 3D or IMAX movies unless it's a special occasion, because most of the time it's not always worth it for some of the movies. But, I mean, just thinking about everything we talked about in November, we got James Bond, Bridge of Spies, Hunger Games, the Peanuts movie. I mean, all those movies that are coming out in November, that just does it right there. I'm going to go see Goosebumps.
James Bond, Bridge of Spies, Hunger Games, all IMAX. Don't qualify.
I don't think I would.
Pass.
I don't think I would see James Bond in IMAX. I'm not that big of a Bond fan. Bridge of Spies. Why the hell would Bridge of Spies be an IMAX movie? That's a drama movie. That they wouldn't do that in IMAX.
It's a spy.
It also came out in October.
And the Peanuts is not going to be an IMAX movie too. I don't know why you think everything.
Oh, this Peanuts is an IMAX.
This is not an. Listen, I know they'll probably put it in IMAX.
Josh saw what I was doing.
Oh, I missed it. I was actually looking at something and I couldn't see your face.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anywho. Oh wait. Sorry, it just clicked so far.
Okay, all right.
But no, I mean, I think the only thing I'm going to see in IMAX is Good Dinosaur and Star Wars. That it. This thing works out. It really. I mean, I go to the movies enough that this is worth my time, worth my money.
If you see more than 4 movies a year, it's worth your time and money.
Well, no, because it's a month.
$30 a month, dude.
$30 a month, dude.
Well, if you see more than 4 movies a month, which is me and CJ.
Do you really?
Yes.
I mean, with the exception of last month, I go pretty often. I try to go once a week.
I mean, I really seriously. I go to the movies that much. This is actually saving me a ton of money to do this. And what's really cool is that you actually get a free trial for the service. Not just because you're that kind of nerd listener. You just do it because they're cool like that. You get 2. It's pretty awesome. $30 a month, 35 in some areas. Movie Pass. Totally worth it. Also, another great thing you can do too is
Movie Pass.
If you go to those big clubs like Sam's Club or Costco, sometimes they even let you buy large quantities of movie tickets in bulk and get a discount. So if you're planning to have a family going out of movie going for the holidays, for everything, go to your Costco, go to Sam's Club, go buy some movies in bulk. So that's another great way to save money.
The good thing about that is it's almost always tied to the locale, right? So wherever whatever club you're buying from is where the tickets are going to be for. And you're going to save 10 to 20%, which is nice.
More popcorn.
That I can get behind.
This is the dumbest one, but I know some people actually feel this way. If you hate trailers, first off, stop listening to our podcast now. Go 13 minutes late. I'm not kidding you. 13 minutes late will pretty much skip all the commercials and skip the trailers if you barely hate America.
And you'll be able to get the worst seat in the whole theater
ever.
Now, the other thing that they have is that the acoustics, for the record, is why you should not do this.
Nah.
Yes. Go towards the upper middle of your movie theater. Don't go all the way in the back. Don't go right in the dead center of the middle. Just go about 2 rows up. That's where the audio engineers actually sit
Engineers.
to engineers. They're usually named Neil. Actually, that's why. So
okay.
the
That makes
engineers,
sense.
they have to usually sit there to calibrate the sound. So especially things for like IMAX movies, sometimes they get a little loud. So if you want to have a different audio experience and you don't want to be the guy wearing earplugs at a movie theater, I saw that once. I kid you not. Don't sit towards the exact middle. Go a little to the left, a little to the right, a little bit up, a little down.
Do a little Cupid shuffle.
2 hops now. Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees. Everybody, clap your hands. But listen, the other of them are pretty good. It's obviously join your loyalty programs, and if you have kids or if you do know anyone with any kind of special needs, their movie theaters are actually very
Like
accommodating.
CJ.
No, legitimately though, movie theaters are very accommodating for families that do have special needs for private screenings, and also, you know, if you can't turn the lights off all the way, they have the ability to kind of have the lights on for safety and a way to keep kids quiet and entertained. A lot of movie theaters are very accommodating to that. So if you're working with any organizations or you're working with children, it's actually a great way to do that. So seriously, ask your local theater for it. And then the last one that I'll say, and then I'm going to shut up for a bit, AAA and AARP will give you movie theater discounts for select showings and select theaters. So worth the AAA membership besides your flat tire changing processes. And check it out.
Totally going to use my AARP.
This sounds bad, right?
I don't know ARP.
No, you don't know ARP. Has anyone had any of their own hacks that we really haven't mentioned that you want to bring up to our listeners?
Find a butter queen.
An over resounding yes. Have you ever like seen a shitty movie and asked for a refund, or have you ever had any experiences like that at all?
I've never asked, like point blank asked for a refund. Most movie theaters, I mean, at least the one by us is really cool about if you have an issue giving out free passes. Okay. Oh, I see where you're getting at. I told you this story earlier. I've got a story about this. So I went to see the midnight premiere of Wolverine Origins because I did not know how bad it was going to be, and I was very excited about it. And I went with my brother and a buddy of mine. And during the scene where he's getting his adamantium put in, he starts having flashbacks to his past and things that have happened in the movie, and they come as like white flashes. And the kid literally, maybe like a little to the left of the row in front of me, starts like kind of shaking in his seat. And the kid next to him is all like, hello? And like, I turn to my buddy Bruce and I'm like, I swear to God, if this kid is screwing around, I'm going to hurt somebody. Then the kid next to him, this kid's still shaking in his seat, gets up. He's like, okay, we need a doctor. So apparently the kid was having a seizure throughout the scene in the movie. And they stop the movie, they turn up all the lights, and someone in there was a nurse and was checking on him, and they escort him out. And then I didn't realize this at the time, but because it's all digital, the guy who's running the projector comes up to the front. He's like, okay, how far do I need to rewind it? So he rewound it back to the same scene. I didn't miss.
Cannot do on a
which you can't do on a 35 millimeter. Like you're screwed. We wound it back to the same scene. I didn't miss a minute of the movie, and as we're all leaving, they're handing out just handfuls of passes. Like, here, we're so sorry we made you 10 minutes late because some other kid had a health condition. Take all these passes, and he's just like giving us passes. So it was then me and my buddy Bruce decided that someone would fake a seizure every time we saw a movie.
Oh,
lowbrow again.
But I went to see the new Star Trek on that movie pass. Just saying.
Just when I thought you couldn't do it, you did it again.
I can always do it. Don't challenge me.
I had an experience, and this is the thing that's good in life. Okay, if you're asking someone to do something a little beyond the ordinary, don't be a dick. Okay, be upset in the fact that, you know, this is an inconvenience, and I really hate to bring this up, but, you know, my life has been altered because of something. But don't be a dick. I went to an AMC Fork and Screen, which is one of those Eden movie theaters that Josh despises now. Put on the list of things Josh despises, by the way. Someone have that list made up?
I have a shorter list of things Josh does not despise.
there you go.
It consists of his family and you and me. And Patrick, of course.
Wait, I'm on that list?
I mean,
Josh.
sometimes you go back and forth.
Anywho, it was a Fork and Screen where you pay for your meal and all that. I gotten a check in the middle of my movie, and paid for it. And then they came back. They said, problem with the card. We just need to swipe it again. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Swipe it. Swiped it, gave me back my receipt. I had my receipt. Life was good. Get out
Or so you thought.
Or so I thought.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm in downtown Disney, so I'm going to go shop now on my honeymoon for trinkets and knickknacks for my friends and family.
We're going to get charm bracelets. It's going to remind us forever.
I went to the left-handed store, by the way, and had the best experience of my entire life.
Going to get a left-handed charm bracelet. Yay!
And basically, I looked at my my bank app and saw that I was charged for not only 2 meals, but 4 movie tickets, which was not the case. And it's downtown Disney. Stuff ain't cheap. Walk into the movie theater, and it's the hey, you guys just put a big damper on my honeymoon, because now I'm out over $80 because you have messed this up. I obviously need a refund. But because it is a credit card, it's going to take about 48 hours to get back to me, which is a no-go because I'm leaving Florida tonight. To which the fine people at AMC, which I will give them credit to anytime I ever have an issue at a movie theater, decided to just shower me with cards of
they
come
made
see
it
free
rain.
movies. Seriously, come see movies. Here's free dinner. Here's free appetizers. Here's free snack. Here's free alcohol. Everything. It was just free out the wazoo. I went to the Bridgewater, New Jersey AMC. Had a terrible experience as well. Came up to the guy in the middle of the movie and said, "Hey, listen, just like you ruined the movie experience. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I really just kind of think I want to bring this to your attention." And then got some free stuff. If you are nice to the movie theater folks, they usually understand. Movies are a special thing for most people. And
What happened in Bridgewater?
Oh, so Bridgewater. This was a lot of fun. We had ordered some food. And it didn't come until way fucking later than everybody else. And the movie is getting to almost halfway. And we're like, everyone's getting their checks and getting their food taken away. And I still haven't gotten it. But you can press a little button in AMC, Fork and Screen, and a couple other places and call your server. They didn't come. So I got up and was like, well, I'm missing this part of the movie now.
You didn't have the Run P app?
I did have the Run P app, and it was like, don't miss this part of the movie. It's pretty fucking crucial.
Oh, so you decided to miss it anyway.
So I decided to go get some food because I hadn't eaten, because I drove to New Jersey to eat and watch a movie, and brought it to the guy's attention. And to be honest, though, the staff there was extremely apologetic. Apparently there was an issue with the computer system, hence why they passed over me. Apologized profusely. I didn't pay for dinner that day. They gave me passes to come back. I came back the next time. Best experience I've ever had. They were very kind, very nice. But as long as you're not a dick, I promise you, movie theaters are willing to take care of you. So be nice to the people who work in a movie theater. They're just people.
It's actually a good. It's a pretty solid rule of thumb for any dealing with any people.
For just life in general. Just
usually
don't be a
good,
dick.
but you have to remind people, because people need to be reminded not to be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Hashtag RedTube.
So that kind of nerd podcast listener, it comes back to you again. We would definitely appreciate your movie theater hacks and or movie theater experiences that are PG, just PG, no 13, PG, no popcorn stories you get it. Just, I want to hear your movie theater hacks. I want to hear what you do.
Step one, cut a hole
into a hole in the bucket.
You two are small goddamn children. 13-year-old boy. Both of you had, by the way, your heads down in shame, knowing full well what you were going to do while I was speaking. Both of you knew exactly what you were going to do. Don't act like you didn't. So I'd like to know your movie theater hacks. What makes your movie theater experience different from those around you, and maybe even a little better? Share it with the world. Don't be selfish. Don't be a dick. Don't hog it. Share it. That was rude. I didn't mean to call you a dick. You're a nice person.
Also go to RedTube and share
Don't be a hog. Share
and
it.
search "Don't Hog" and share it.
Listen, just God, guys. Thank you so much for making us your walk around the neighborhood or your drive to work. I'm so sorry you have to deal with us sometimes, but I love you for doing it. It really means the world to us. Also, make sure to get your free. I can't even do it. Just get a free audiobook at
Any book will do. The History of RedTube.
I've already
Download
given you a
it.
book suggestion for this week. No, I'm just kidding. Please make sure to help support us. Tweet at us at That Kind of Nerd with your suggestions. Like us on Facebook. Listen, we're also looking for writers, but I think I'm just going to put that in the beginning of the podcast because fuck me, we can't ask for them after they've listened to this episode.
We absolutely can. We're a fun-loving bunch of guys. Who wouldn't want to write
do
us?
it, Brian. I want to hear you ask for people to write for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need more writers for the website. So please go to, thatkindofnerd.com, and there's a link on the front page, correct?
You're just making me do things now. Sure, absolutely. Whatever you say now has to go.
Isn't there something on the front page? This is why you do these things. I'm not in charge of it. I just do the magic.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
There's two buttons on the front page.
Don't you do it.
On the left, it'll take you to RedTube. On the right,
don't do it.
It's a link to email us and say, I want to be a writer.
You are the worst.
Now we have to put an ad for RedTube on the webpage. Now you got to do it. Sorry.
Oh my God. Listen, if after all of this episode, you want to be part of That Kind of Nerd team, God bless you, and we want you, okay? The fact that you will want to do it is great. It's very simple. Just go to thatkindofnerd.com, go to the About Us page. There is a section there where you can fill out your name, your email address, tell us why you would be a great person to join the That Kind of Nerd team. We will definitely go ahead and read every submission and make sure that we can get some new people, some new voices onto the website, and hopefully it's yours. So I really can't thank you enough for taking the time to go ahead and check that out. Oh, actually, there's one other thing too. I gotta get it though. We got a review on Stitcher. So I want to give a shout out to someone who left a review on Stitcher, and I apologize. It was 3 months ago, and I owe you sincerest apologies. This review is called A Casual Conversation. It's 4 stars, so there you go. You don't have to always give us 5. 4 works just fine if that's what you feel.
But more importantly, you should all give us 5 stars.
And it says, this podcast doesn't sound like a bunch of guys with a stick up their butts. This just seems like 3 friends talking. Keep it up. Short, simple, and to the point, and I thank you so much for your review. And guys, if you want us to read your review, good, bad, or indifferent, all you have to do is open up your favorite podcasting app, find the sections for the reviews, and go ahead and do it. If you're on iTunes, you can do it right there, or Stitcher, where we are obviously streaming as well for those of you who have an Android device. Give us a review. We'll definitely read it, no matter how you feel about us. We'll definitely make sure that we take your feedback to heart. And we really appreciate anyone who has done that in the past. So go to thatkindofnerd.com, check the About Us page, come join the team, come leave a review, and just really sincerely thank you so much for listening to this episode. I think it was a nice job. Thanks, guys. You have a good night.
Salud.
Hashtag RedTube. You know what's refreshing is that we've managed to sound like we don't have sticks up our butts, when in fact all of us are planted firmly on sticks. He is gone. I'm going to end the recording. I don't know.
Here's what we want from you, fine listeners of That Kind of Nerd. I want you, more importantly, That Kind of Nerd listeners, CJ wants you to go to www.redtube.com.
No, that is not true. Stop that.
Type in the search bar PewDiePie. That is PEWEPIE. And just click on the first link that shows up.
Stop. Do not. That is not true. That is not.
And then please post those links as comments on this podcast.
Not at all.
And any other anything that's recommended beyond.
You can also search "Don't Be a Dick" and start posting those links.
No,
those will work as well.
I think Brian also recommended you search "There's a Whole Lot of Hope" on here and see what happens. You may not be pleased with the results, but let's just try it anyway.
There's a whole lot of hope in this podcast.
That's true.
Just saying.
I don't know what I'm going to do with you guys.
It just sounds like a BBW. It just sounds like a BBW movie.
He's so angry.
Don't know. What to do.
Oh man, I was in the mood. I was in the mood for a big girl, so I watched There's a Whole Lot of Hope.
Oh god damn it! God damn it! I don't know what to do with that. That's gonna. I don't know.
That's the stinger.
No. I don't know what to do with that. Anywho,